A very good morning, students. Today we'll start with the chapter, The Great Stone Face. As the title shows, it is about the face, but it is not a normal face of human being. And you can see, if you can see the picture, so it is a picture of it is a mountain. And you need to, before proceeding with the chapter, you should always read the starter as I guided you earlier. And in the starter, you get the hint that what is there in the chapter. Right? So this great stone face, as this pic shows, it is a mountain. Seen from a distance, hilltops and huge rocks. Okay, I tell you, just imagine that you are proceeding to some hill station, and if it is or sometime in the sky also है ना कभी कभी when we watch the sky some partially clouds are there और आपने ऐसा सुना भी होगा कि लोग ऐसे पिक्स डाल देते हैं हमें कि we saw the picture of साईं बाबा there है ना होता क्या है हमारी इमेजिनेशन होती है ना जो भी शेप में क्लाउड्स होते हैं कुछ भी है तो हम उस चीज को लेकिन जब हमारा फेथ उसमें ऐड हो जाता है when we have some faith particular faith in some particular God or so then we just imagine, you know, and we are proceeding. Just imagine that we are proceeding to a hill station or so, और आप remote दूर कहीं देखते हैं तो आपको ऐसा एक माउंटेन दिखाई देता है डिफरेंट शेप्स में आपको माउंटेन दिखाई देता है so it can be our imagination also that sometimes we imagine. The same is a main concern here. Seen from a distance, hilltops and huge rocks. Huge rocks, to understand, huge means very big, and rocks is the big part of stone or some a big part of hill. Then huge rocks seem to assume various shapes. Sometimes कुछ ऐसे यहाँ पे हमें image दिखाई देती है, shape दिखाई देती है. That is made of rocks. They may resemble an animal or a human figure. People attribute stories to these shapes. Some stories come true, others do not. Means now we are going to read a story about a particular shape made by the rocks. But it is not a simple any image or so. ऐसा नहीं है. इस particular image के साथ, इस particular shape के साथ लोगों का कुछ faith है. This people attribute stories. कुछ लोगों ने ऐसे विश्वास उनके साथ कुछ ऐसी stories उन्होंने इनके साथ attach की हुई है. What are these? The Great Stone Face is one such shape. Now we are going to read about one such shape in which it is a huge part of rock. You will read the description of this particular rock, and it is called the Great Stone Face. इसके बारे में हम लोग पढ़ेंगे. That reminds the inhabitants of the valley. Inhabitants means the natives, the people living in that particular valley, of a prophecy. What is that prophecy? Prophecy is better something foretelling, है ना? Prophecy जिसको हम भविष्यवाणी बोलते हैं, foretelling, FOR. For coming time we just declare something or something is declared by someone. Okay, I would like you to be attentive and there shouldn't be anybody. Yes, children, you should be alone when you are attending the session. It is my humble request to all. Right? What was it? Did it come true? Now we are going to read about this story, this stone face, and a story attributed to this. And this is very important part of the chapter which we are going to read. One afternoon, when the sun was going down, a mother and her little boy sat at the door of their cottage talking about the great stone face. Now, here is a lady and her son, and they are sitting at the door of their cottage. It is a means cottage, you can see. It is some particular part of the hilly area. They had only to lift their eyes, and there it was. And when they lift their eyes, what was there? There was plain to be seen. It was plain to be seen, though miles away, with the sunshine brightening with its features. It was a plain area where they have their cottage, but covered with the surrounded by the hills. And when they look up, what they see? And what was the great stone face? They see the great stone face. What is that? The great stone face was a work of nature. Mark this part, whether you might be asked to describe the great, what is great stone face? The Great Stone Face was a work of nature formed on the perpendicular side of a mountain by some immense rocks. It is made of rocks, which had been thrown together so that when viewed at a proper distance, they resembled the features of a human face. Means these rocks, they collectively they made a shape which was taking the shape of a human face, and this was called the gravestone face. Yes, beta. Your parents usually they ask, कि ma'am, can a student answer in their own language? Definitely, beta, in any subject. If it is some particular definition, and that is, I hope that is in science and all, है ना? Particularly in science or something, some particular definition can be there, which you should learn. Otherwise, if you write in your own words, if you describe in your own words, if it is correct, then it is correct. It doesn't matter that you pick the same sentence structure, and a sentence structure might be difficult here, and you can write easily in your own language. In a way, you will learn how to describe something in your own language. So always you can comfortably go with your language. ठीक है? लेकिन उसमें जो अच्छे words हैं, the good vocabulary part, good words you should always use, I suggest. So when viewed at a proper distance, when these rocks they are seen from a distance, they give the resemblance to your face. If the spectator means the person who watch, if the spectator approach too near, लेकिन जैसे जैसे the person who is watching it, he comes closer, he goes closer to that particular rocks, those particular rocks of that area. If the spectator approached too near, he lost the outline of the enormous space. और जैसे जैसे आप उसके पास जाएंगे, अब जैसे मैंने स्काई की बात की कि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि क्लाउड जैसी शेप ले लेते हैं कभी कभी, तो लोग उसको अपने कुछ भी जो भी वर्शिपिंग पार्ट पे वो करते हैं, विश करते हैं, दे हैव थिंग, उनको वो चीजें वो इमेजिन कर लेते हैं, है ना? लेकिन अगर हम उसको टेलीस्कोप से देखें, अगर एक कोई भी फीचर है, चाहे इन द स्काई और ऑन द रॉक्स, on the hills. If we watch them, we go closer to them. If the spectator approached too near, he lost the outline of the enormous face. जैसे जैसे कोई स्टोन फेस के पास जाता है, तो उसकी जो आउटलाइन अंडरस्टैंड ना, द शेप outside outline of that shape, could see only a heap of gigantic, again an adjective used, gigantic rocks piled upon one upon another. जब हम इसके पास जाते हैं तो इसमें क्या है कि कुछ ना कुछ रॉक्स छोटी बड़ी सब मिलके वो शेप बना. But seen from a distance, the clouds clustering about it, the great stone face seemed positively to be alive. लेकिन जब उसके आसपास क्लाउड्स आते हैं, then it seems to be alive. Now, the clouds clustering about it, the great stone face seemed positively to be alive. It was a belief of many people. It was the belief of many people that the valley owed much of its fertility to the benign face that was continually beaming over it. अब इसको इस शेप को क्यों ऐसा सब लेते थे, क्योंकि इसके साथ सम स्टोरी वाज एक्टिवेटेड, इससे रिलेटेड एक स्टोरी थी लोगों के दिमाग में. होता है ना, फिर तो हम नेचुरली हम इमेजिन वैसा ही करते हैं व्हाट वी वांट. एंड इफ यू गो फॉर साइंस, देन साइंस आल्सो सेज, जब हम कहते हैं हमें भूत दिखाई देते हैं, हमें ये है वो है, कुछ ऐसे स्पिरिचुअल चीजें दिखाई देती हैं, सो science also says that we see always, psychology says we always see what we want to see. जो हम देखना चाहते हैं ना, हमें सिर्फ वही चीजें ही दिखाई देती हैं. A mother and her little boy now comes to the gravestone face. A mother and her little boy, as we said earlier, sat at the door of their cottage, gazing at the gravestone face and talking about it. The child's name was Ernest. Now this little boy is Ernest. Mother said, mother, said he, while the gravestone face smiled on him. I wish that it could. Now, better remember, I wish that it could means it is not so. What if is? You wish. जब हम wish करते हैं बेटा, I wish it were. I wish I were. उसके साथ हम क्या use करते हैं? Past tense. I wish that it could speak, for it looks so very kindly, and its voice must indeed be pleasant. Now this little boy, he's so attracted to this stone face that he wants to talk to it. He wished that may it speak. If I ever see a man with such a face, I should love him very much. This line, this sentence, it shows the attachment, it shows the attraction of this child towards this great stone. If an old prophecy should come to pass. Now what mother says? If an old prophecy should come to pass means if it proved to be true. Answered his mother, we may see a man sometime. जैसा कि लोग कहते हैं अगर वो सच हुआ तो naturally we will meet such man with exactly such a face as that और उसका face definitely इससे match करेगा. What prophecy do you mean, dear mother? Eagerly inquired Ernest. Please tell me about it. Now the boy wants to know the prophecy. Here we will read about the prophecy. So his mother told him a story that her own mother had told her. Now but mark this line, this prophecy, it is not sometimes it happens. अगर आप पुराना देखें ना, some kind of such serials also. अगर हम कोई अपने some old scripts पढ़ते हैं, scripts आप समझते हैं ना, scripts related to religion and all, है ना? तो उसमें हमने कई बार ऐसे सुना होगा कि तभी आकाश में भविष्यवाणी हुई. आकाश में भविष्यवाणी हुई मीन दैट वाज आल्सो प्रोफेसी बट द अनाउंसर इज नॉट देयर. कि आकाश से आवाज आई, है ना, दैट वाज कॉल्ड द प्रोफेसी. बट हियर वी आर रीडिंग अबाउट द प्रोफेसी. इट वाज मेड बाय द जनरेशन टू जनरेशन. जिस जैसे हमने सुपरस्टिशन की बात की उसकी, है ना. सुपरस्टिशन इज ऑलवेज अ बिलीफ पासिंग फ्रॉम वन जनरेशन टू द नेक्स्ट. ऐसे ही ये प्रोफेसी है जो वन जनरेशन जो इस मदर को उसकी मदर ने बताया. प्लीज टेल मी व्हाट प्रोफेसी डू यू मीन डियर मदर, प्लीज टेल मी. So his mother told him a story that her own mother had told her when she herself was a younger than little Ernest. उसकी मदर ने भी उसको बचपन में सुनाई थी. That at some future day, mark the prophecy, beta. You will be asked to write the prophecy. What is the prophecy about this stone face? Than little Ernest, that at some future day a child should be born. Should be born means beta it is definitely would be, है ना. Should is suggested, but here somewhere it is used. Okay, should be born means होना चाहिए. means हुआ नहीं था लेकिन लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि इन फ्यूचर ऐसा बच्चा आना चाहिए या आएगा. Should be born near here who was destined to become the greatest and noblest person of his time and whose face in manhood should bear an exact resemblance to the great stone face. Now, what was the declaration? That a person will born in that area who will resemble and having all the greatest and the noblest quality. Many still had faith in this old prophecy. Many people still believe in this old prophecy, but others took it to be nothing but idle talk. Some people believe and some people don't. Now what happens? That some people believe and some don't according to their faith. At all events, the great man of the prophecy had not yet appeared, but that great soul case has not appeared yet. ऐसा हुआ नहीं है. Oh mother, cried Ernest, clapping his hand above his head. बड़ा खुश होकर बच्चा क्या कहता है? I do hope that I shall live to see him. Why he is happy? He is happy because he sees if it had not happened, it will naturally happen in his life, in his lifespan. है ना? जो उसकी मदर को बचपन में उसकी ग्रैंड मदर ने बताया वो हुआ नहीं. तो इसका मतलब है अब उसकी मदर बता रही है तो naturally it is going to happen in this or in his life. His mother was an affectionate and thoughtful lady. Mark the word thoughtful. Today you should be picking the adjectives. Many adjectives are used in this chapter. You will be picking that what kind of this or you will observe the changes according to the age in this person Ernest. The main protagonist है, ये main character है इस chapter का, and you need to mark the growth in this child, this boy. His mother was an affectionate and thoughtful lady. Thoughtful समझते ना विचारवान, हर बात को deeply सोचना, philosophical. Her mother was an affectionate, loving, and thoughtful woman. It was proper, she thought, not to discourage the fanciful hopes of her little boy. Now, this mother This loving lady, she wants, she just did not want to distract the child from his imagination. वो नहीं चाहती कि बच्चे को disturb करे. She want to let him just imagine what he wants. So she said to him, perhaps you may. I wish that you meet this uh, great stone face in your life. And Ernest never forgot the story that his mother told. और ये बच्चा भी इतना ही थॉटफुल था. वो आम बच्चों की तरह बच्चा नहीं था कि जो बात हुई बोल गए, है ना, लेकिन वो हर बात को सीरियसली लेता था. इसलिए he never forgot. And Ernest never forgot the story that his mother told him. It was always in his mind whenever he looked upon the great stone face. जब भी वो great stone face की तरफ देखता, उसके दिमाग में वही स्टोरी आती. He spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born. Log cottage, you can imagine, just imagine a cottage made of log. Was beautiful to his mother. Now, to these here, Ernest is described as a boy, as a small boy. See the qualities of this boy. He was born, was beautiful to his mother and helpful to her in many things. He was beautiful, he was thoughtful, he was helpful. Go on circling the adjectives to her in many things, assisting her much with his little hands and more with his loving heart. Means he had a loving heart also. In this manner, from a happy yet often pensive child, pensive, little bit you can say, again thoughtful. He grew up to his mind and quite cute. Means here this pensive is the synonym of thoughtful. You should be able to the form of the word. You should be able to recognize all these things now. That it is synonym of the thoughtful, this pensive. And another adjective used for thoughtful. Sometimes you can use thoughtful, sometimes you can use pensive for the corrective. You know? Ernest had no teacher. But I would like you to just attentively see this use. Had, है ना. कई बार क्या होता है, in reported speech present perfect है, ठीक है. उसके साथ जब आपको past यूज करना है तो आप ये सोचने लग जाते हैं कि यहाँ पे मैम ये कलेक्टिवली कंजक्टिवली rather conjunctively had यूज होगा या that, है ना. Here this had is used for the past perfect tense. Ernest had no teacher. Means उसके पास टीचर नहीं था. He had never gone to school. But the great stone face became one to him. लेकिन ऐसा लगता था उसको great stone face अपने टीचर की तरह लगता था. Means he always tried to learn something from great stone face. When the work of the day was over, he would gaze at it for hours. बेटा अब आप इसमें ना that the synonym of watch, observe, gaze, ये आप इसके सिनोनिम भी इसमें चैप्टर में आप देखेंगे, है ना. गेज एंड द स्पेक्टेटर मींस रेगुलरली वाचिंग समथिंग. गेज क्या होता है, कंटिन्यूअसली वी वॉच समथिंग, कुछ ऑब्जर्व करते हुए. रेगुलर गेज इज कॉन्स्टेंटली वाचिंग समथिंग. ही वुड गेज एट इट फॉर आवर्स. दिस वर्ब कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर आवर्स until he began to imagine that those watch features recognized him and gave him a smile of kindness and encouragement. See again that how he feels, this boy, when he sit close to, when or not close to, we can say, but in contact with this great stone face, they always bestow होता है एक तरह की blessing, kindness and encouragement. वो उसको encourage करते थे और उसके अंदर कौन सी क्वालिटी को डेवलप करते थे, काइंडनेस. उसको ऐसी फीलिंग आती थी, पॉजिटिविटी. प्रथम you are does not seem to be interested and don't concentrate my listening only with it. Don't concentrate on listening my voice. No doubt you might be enjoying the story, but go on marking whatever I tell you. जो भी आपको ग्रामेटिकल, जो भी आपको वोकैबुलरी साथ साथ बोलती बेटा पेंसिल से नोट करें, ठीक है. So that might be asked anytime. Okay? About this time, there went a rumor throughout the valley. A rumor had gone throughout the valley. Rumor, you understand, it does not have a base, a logic. Rumor, अफवाह जिसको हम कहते हैं, है ना. Sometimes सुनते हैं ना हम लोग सोसाइटी में, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, this happened. लोग पास करते रहते हैं मैसेजेस को. वी डोंट जस्ट चेक द रियलिटी ऑफ दैट मैसेज, हम उसको फॉरवर्ड करते रहते हैं, है ना। व्हाट्सएप ने तो ये इस चीज को बहुत ज्यादा इंकरेज किया है, विदाउट चेकिंग द रियलिटी ऑफ द मैसेज वी फॉरवर्ड से। और उसका लेकिन समटाइम यू गेट दैट इट इज फेक, जिसको हम फेक बोल देते हैं, है ना, इट डज नॉट हैव अ बेस। सो दैट इज अ ह्यूमर, ह्यूमर मीन्स अफवाह। Now, when a rumor throughout means that which that does not have a reality, है ना, in its own. Throughout the valley that the great man who was to bear a resemblance. Hopefully, Ishita, can you just move your head and tell me that Google form is shared? Okay, thank you. About this time, there went a rumor throughout the valley that the great man who was to bear a resemblance to the great stone face had appeared at last. Now, see, now there is twist in the story that a person visits the valley and he has the resemblance to great stone face. Resemblance, resemblance means having same features. So it seems that many years before, a young man had left the valley, settled at a distant seaport. Or what was the reality of that man, or what was the story? Again, introduction of this person is given. A young man had left the valley and settled at a distant seaport, gather gold. Circle the name, highlight the name, beta. This is the first person we are reading in the story who is thought to be the great stone face. बार बार आपको ऐसा नोट करने पड़ेंगे. Gather gold, which was his name, had set up as a shopkeeper and being sharp in business matters, had become so very rich and it would have taken him 100 years only to count his wealth. Mark the line, beautiful line. He had set up as a shopkeeper, being sharp in business matters, means he was an intelligent businessman and had become so very rich, itna rich ho gaya, that it would have taken him 100 years. See the use of would have, हुआ नहीं है लेकिन ऐसा होता अगर वो काउंट करता. He requires 100 years. 100 years लगते हैं उसको क्या करने में? Only to count his wealth, means he was so rich. In time he thought of his native valley. अब जब खूब पैसा कमा लिया तो उसको अपने मदरलैंड की याद आई and he returned back to this valley. In time he thought of his native valley and decided to go back there and end his days where he had been born. ये बहुत से लोगों की विश होती है when they are away from their motherland. जब हम अपने नेशन से दूर चले जाते हैं, अपनी मातृभूमि से हम दूर हो जाते हैं, तब हमें उस चीज की कहते हैं ना, कैसे एज वी जस्ट से दैट जब कोई चीज हमारे पास नहीं होती है तब उसकी कदर होती है ना. अब आपके पेरेंट्स आपके पास हैं, लेकिन मान लो आपको पेरेंट्स से या जब आप स्कूल में होते हैं, जस्ट इमेजिन फॉर अ फ्यू आवर्स व्हेन यू आर इन द स्कूल, तो घर में आते ही सबसे पहले क्या ढूंढते हो? माँ ढूंढते हो ना. और अब उसी माँ को आपने कितना परेशान किया होगा इस पूरे साल में. हम ये भी कहेंगे कि यू पीपल आर लकी दैट यू हैड बीन विद योर पेरेंट्स ऑल द टाइम. इट शुडंट बी, बट द थिंग इज, जो चीज हमारे पास होती है उसकी वैल्यू नहीं होती है ना. और जब आप स्कूल जाएंगे दोबारा तब आप देखेंगे, तब आपको याद होगा कि आएगा कि मम्मा कहती थी क्लास से पहले पहले फटाफट ब्रेकफास्ट ले लो, गर्म कपड़े पहन लो. मैंने अभी भी देखा कुछ बच्चों को पेरेंट्स पासेस देयर वार्म क्लोथ्स टू देम, है ना. आई हैव सीन. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर आस्क्ड टू कीप योर वीडियोस ऑन, बिकॉज वी आल्सो यू आर अवेयर दैट हाउ वी शुड सिट लाइक, है ना. सो नाउ जस्ट अडैप्ट टू दिस हैबिट विद दैट, और ऑलवेज बी रेडी फॉर द कमिंग फ्यूचर. आज के आज नो डाउट काम आज के आज होना चाहिए, लेकिन हमेशा हमें फ्यूचर के लिए रेडी रहना चाहिए. अगर आज आपने हैबिट नहीं डाली ना कि हम लोग रेडी होके एकदम से टिप टॉप होके कैमरा के सामने बैठे, तो आप इमेजिन करो कल आपको स्कूल जाना पड़ेगा सर्दी में. सचित, ही इज वेल इमेजिनिंग. यस मिस्टर सचित, एम आई राइट? है ना. कुछ लोग तो खूब से अच्छे से बात लेके आराम से रेडी होके बैठे हैं और कुछ खा पी के भी बैठे होंगे, खा पी के बैठना चाहिए, है ना. सो बेटा गेट टू दिस हैबिट. अब इस वीक में दिस मंडे मॉर्निंग के साथ अपने आप में डिसीजन ले लो कि मुझे कल से रेडी होके क्लास अटेंड करनी है, सेशन अटेंड करनी है. ओके, आई होप Yes, Ernest had been deeply stirred by the idea that the great man, the noble man, the man of prophecy, after so many ages of delay, was at length to be seen in his native valley. Now, this Ernest, he also believes, usko bhi lag raha hai, he also believes that this person is the great stone face. While the boy was still gazing up the valley one day and imagining that the great stone face returned his gaze, मार्क द लाइन बेटा रिटर्न हिज गेज कि वो भी उसको देख रहा है ये फीलिंग थी बच्चे की द नॉइस ऑफ व्हील्स वाज हर्ड अचानक से what he heard the noise of wheels and a crowd of people cried here comes the great Mr. Gather Gold means he is coming in public means he got a chance to see this man closely है ना at a little distance he had heard of this Gather Gold but now he was going to meet this person. A carriage drawn by four horses dashed round the turn of the road. Within it thrust, partly out of the window, appeared the face of an old man with yellow skin. This is the appearance of Gathergold. The very image of the great stone face shouted the people. Sure enough, the old prophecy is true. Here we have the great man at last. All these people are shouting that they have finally got this great stone face. And what greatly puzzled Ernest, they seemed actually to believe that there was a likeness which they spoke of. Because people have this faith and they were getting this resemblance. I told you now we always watch, we always see what we want to see. This is a very well proved theory of psychology. जो हम देखना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर यही मानते हैं हम वही देखते हैं जो हम देखना चाहते हैं और इंटरेस्ट और मेमोरी के लिए भी यही होता है हम वही चीज याद रखते हैं जो हम याद रखना चाहते हैं ये बात भी याद रखना we always we are able to learn to memorize what we want to memorize the very image of the great stone face shouted the people sure enough the old prophecy is true here we have the great man at last and what greatly puzzled Ernest they seemed actually to believe that here was a likeness which they spoke of. He turned away sadly from the wrinkled sureness of that unpleasant face. Mark the line. Now, what he observed, he turned away sadly from the wrinkled sureness of that unpleasant face. Means that face appeared to him unpleasant, full of wrinkled sureness. Sureness is a professional smartness we can say. चतुर जिसको हम बोलते हैं, है ना? It is professional smartness, shrewdness, चतुराई, जिसमें हल्का सा नेगेटिव पन भी हो सकता है ना? Shrewdness को हम पॉजिटिवली नहीं लेते. And gazed up the valley where the stone face seemed to say, "He will come, fear not, Ernest, the man will come." और जब वो उसको देखने के बाद गेट स्टोन फेस की तरफ देखता है तो क्या उसको लगता है कि गेट स्टोन फेस कह रहा है उससे ही यूज्ड टू टॉक टू दिस ग्रेट स्टोन फेस और क्या जवाब आता है वहां से ही विल कम फियर नॉट अर्नेस्ट द मैन विल कम मींस this is not the person this is not the great stone face he expected rather great stone face assured him that one day this person that person will definitely come. Okay, children. In tomorrow we'll proceed with the